Hello. 1, 2, 3.
Testing, testing. 1, 2.
Good. Hello. Compass or a map, general map of the place, and I went over and I put the states I was seeing. One week later, and I couldn't calculate the volume without having a rough idea. Because they were charging for volume. So I had to know how much volume it was. And I did it. It started there 1 month later. And surveyor came in. I'm ready. Where's the job? Who did it for you? Tell me the name of them. I wasn't thinking of not spending several $1,000. We are ready. We're waiting to see if somebody else comes in because we had 18 first. So, and as we are only 9, we thought that maybe the half of them are on their way, and we waited some minutes for them. But if they do not show up in a couple of minutes, we'll start, and they'll just join us. I was explaining, Milutin, that we have 18 and we're only 9, and we were waiting to see if they show up. Okay, okay. Okay. Start? Just for this one. Good afternoon to all of you. We're here this afternoon to work with us in talent management. Milutin and I, Rafe, are the 2 persons that are responsible for this session. And we're going to try to portray what talent management means for us right now in scouting. When I say portray, it's with your help. Because, of course, I can have an idea of talent management. What we would like is to see an appreciation of us all about what talent management really is.
There are a couple of issues we'll try to cover during the session. If you agree, it's about what is talent, how do we evaluate in scouting, do we look only for top talent and we try to get the most of everyone's talent in scouting, how do we deal with people who are specialists and those who are generalists, and also how it can be a transversal issue tackled throughout all the levels and all the elements in scouting, if you agree. But let's start with getting to know each other. It would be good if you can say your name, where you come from, and maybe one skill that you always wanted to learn but never did it. Is it okay? So again, I'm Milutin. I'm originally from Serbia, but I was working for the European Scout Office of the World Scout Bureau. So I'm now between Serbia and Switzerland. And I always wanted to fly with the, how you call it, the motor paraglider. I don't know what's the name of it exactly. That's something which I really wanted to do. I saw it first time on the Jamboree in Korea 22 years ago, and I always wanted to do it, but never did it. And I really regret I never did it myself. Okay.
Well, I'm Rafe. I live in Panama. I'm in the Inter-American Scout Committee, and I work very closely with the Inter-American Scout Office, part of the World Office, because it's in Panama in City of Knowledge. And I am enjoying very much my stay here and what we're doing, and I hope we have a good time.
And what skill you want?
Skill, I would say enjoyment. My best skill is to enjoy myself in the bad moments and in the good moments, because when you enjoy yourself, you have learned.
I'm Adrian from Romania, and one skill that, actually I can say one skill that I want to master, to sing on guitar. I started to learn, I can do it a little bit, but I want to do it much better.
I'm Lilith, I'm from Armenia. The skill that I would like to master, I haven't thought about it, but there are so many things. I would like to be more patient.
Frederick from Denmark. I'm working with organization development in my NSA, and I'm really happy for singing, but I have no talent, I think, for it. So, well, I would like to get more talent in there. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm Jerome. I'm from Belgium. I want to try to use a microphone properly. Seriously. I guess I want to speak a better English and a better Dutch.
Hello, I'm Francesca from Hong Kong. I think I would like to learn better Spanish and also be more self-confident.
Hello, I'm Cherry from Hong Kong also, and I love singing also. Yeah, and I'm now a member in a district choir. Yeah.
I'm Cedric, your rapporteur. I appreciate so much visual arts and music, but I am not good at both.
Two non-talented people for music.
Hi, I'm Ruben Sessa from FAO. One talent I'd like to build better would be actually bringing out people's potential more.
Hello, Andrzej, Czech Republic. I would like to be able to better manage my time and my life with higher respect to myself, not only to be as efficient as possible, but as well not forget on myself.
My name is Mike Patton. I'm Chief Commissioner of Tasmania, which is an island part of Australia, an island just below the rest of Australia. And I've led a fortunate life. I've been able to do almost all the things that I've wanted to do, except sing. I can't sing. And so now at this stage of my life, I'm hoping to get old gracefully.
I'm Graham Coates, also from Australia. I'd actually like to be as clever as all my scouting friends around me that seem to be able to speak more than one language.
Sorry, I'm late. I'm Richard Okello from Uganda, working as the National Executive Commissioner. Yeah, I grew thinking I would be a medical person, and I never became one. I became a teacher.
Yeah, Ninette from Madagascar. I think that what I have to improve is first my English, and it's an opportunity for me to make it practice as a spoken language. But according to the talent management also, I want to manage how to motivate the staff of mine.
Hello, I'm Mawara, newly appointed program commissioner, and talent management. I think, I am a motor vehicle mechanic. My trade is I am a mechanic, and I graduated as a mechanic, but I am not working as a mechanic. I am doing a different job.
Hello, my name is Roman from Germany. I'm a national board member, and this question is kind of tricky for me, but I think I got the answer. I want to learn to dream.
Hello, I'm Catherine from Belgium, and the skill that I always wanted to learn is to learn to fly. I think it would be very cool.
Hi, my name is Bettina from Germany, and I'm not trying to copy. I thought of this before, but it's also the microphone. It's trying to learn guitar, because I really tried a lot of times, but I never stick to it, and I'm really bad. I always make pauses, and it's not good to sing along.
Hello, I'm Alif Wong from Scout China, Taiwan. There are so many things I want to learn, but the most urgent one I'm doing right now is scuba diving, and the other one is the trying to play piano. Thank you.
We have a couple of newcomers. What's your name and what?
My name is Muhammad Al-Hinai from Oman. I am head of Scout Leadership Development. In the past, I hope to be speaker in English, but now I will improve my English to be speaker. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Chin Aoyang from Hong Kong. I want to learn how to manage or improve my talent.
Hi, I'm Kingsley Davis from Australia. I'm a barrister, which means I present cases in court. When I was very young, I was very skilled at music, and I was a member of a youth orchestra, and I've never had the time, because of my scouting commitment, to go back and play in high-quality performances, and that's a matter of regret, but it's my choice.
This ruined part of my presentation, because I wanted the scouting can help you to do whatever you want, and this scouting killed this this idea of being part of a good orchestra. And one more. Sorry. Your name and what you always wanted to
Well, my name is David. I'm from Spain, and I'm the Educational Program Commissioner. I don't know. I have a lot of talent that I want to improve. I don't know. For example, my English. I speak very bad, as you see. And the music skill, I would like to improve the music.
Thank you all. So there are a lot of skills that we want to develop, but unfortunately, sometimes we didn't have time. Sometimes we are not talented for it, and that's kind of a problem. So let's see about what talent means. And I would invite you to do a small exercise. Think about one word that for you would be explanation of talent, but not using talent. So what is talent for you? For instance, well, one word or maybe, one word if possible. You think about it? Sorry? No, just think for yourself. You know what it is? Try. Can you write it for yourself? Just write it because you need it. Wow. Just not to forget. Yeah, just write it. No, you keep it for yourself. You don't need to give it to me. Just a quick exercise. Okay? Any? Let me hear some. You said?
Skill or better, exceptional skill.
Exceptional skills. Anyone else?
Latent ability.
Latent ability. Sorry? The ability that's not being used. Yeah, okay. Anyone
Dormant?
else?
Dormant ability?
Dormant. Ah, okay. Something that is not developed fully. Another word?
It's a seed that we have it inside and we can develop it or not.
So something that is inside, but it's not developed fully. Okay, everybody has one word. Okay? So let's try to get this group together, trying to use all your words to create a definition of talent. And this group together. And here, let's split like half, yeah, okay. So use your words, each of your words, and try to make a definition of talent. Quickly exercise, nothing scientific. This will help us to know what really talent is. We're almost there. Good. Let's hear the definitions. And I would like to invite you to come here. This is the place where you should talk. And if you stay here and talk, people who are watching us online will see you, not only me all the time, and Rafe, which is good. Please.
Should we wait for them?
Okay, let's go.
As we learned this morning, the KITH method, like keep it simple, Scout, we say talent is a gifted ability.
Talent is a gifted ability. Agree with it? I think it's a very good, simple. This group definitely agrees. Yeah. Okay. Very well. The other group?
Hi, this group.
Show yourself around the world.
Hello everyone online, this is Kingsley Davis, Leader Trainer Melbourne. Our definition for talent is hidden ability which needs to be identified and cultivated. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the serious group who was really trying to find a grammatical definition.
Yes, because we have developed a list of vocabulary related to talent. And then after some reconstruction, our definition would be a person who has a seed or a kind of potential ability or hidden skills. And then he or she would be different from each other. And then by using his or her intelligence, he or she can reach a certain result and he's a genius or a talent in that field. So that's our definition.
Thank you. No copyright, okay. Yeah, you can see talent can be defined in different ways. And this is what we try to do is a quick exercise. Normally, I like the definitions, I have to say, both the very explanatory one and also the short one, which is quite also effective. And we talked about what's talent individually. For you, what is talent? For each of us, what is hidden in us? How do we kind of get the most of it? How does scouting relate to this? For me, personally, I would say my point of view, and then I invite you to comment or to give more if you want. For me, scouting, I think, is the best place where you can try all your talents. And there is so many things you can try. And I saw, as I said, I saw the machine flying first time in my life in Korea, and I always wanted to do it. Even one of the scout leaders in Serbia was instructor of flying. So, I mean, I didn't use the opportunity which scouting offered to me to try something. But I think that scouting is an excellent opportunity where you can try all your talents, all things that you always wanted, that you dream, things that you never thought about having, you can always try in scouting. And then, if it works, you can just go on and develop it fully. And I think that's why scouting is an excellent talent opportunity for people. Would you agree with it? Would you have some comment more about that? Anything else to add? No? Was it so good? Is it true that we are offering this to young people? Sorry? Okay. Is it being screened?
Yes.
Oh, streamed.
Okay. I've just a short story because do you know Tintin? Hergé is the drawer of Tintin, the character, the comic character Tintin, and he started to draw in the Scouts journal of my association, so long years ago. So I think that it's true. The talents of people can be revealed by scouting. And I have another example, but maybe it's more a French example. Do you know Jacques Brel? It's a famous Belgian singer who sings in French and David Bowie take a thing from him, the port of Amsterdam. I don't know if you, no matter. But he started to sing in Scouts veillée, it's Scouts evening, in campfire, and he's one of the most French-speaking singers in the time.
Two very good examples of the opportunity that scouting brought to people to develop their talents. Something more? Some more comments? Okay, so this is the opportunity where we can help young people to grow and to show what they have inside. But then, Rafa, would you take over to test the other issue?
I'd like to emphasize.
Yep. Do you want me to get up? I'm sorry, I wouldn't have done this, except I think there's a significant omission. The movement not only helps people, but it encourages to go outside their former experiences and try and obtain satisfaction in doing things that are not necessarily related to scouting. We encourage challenge and stretching the boundaries and doing extra, taking part in extra experiences.
The marvelous thing is that scouting, by its method, reaches the individual. We're not a massive movement. We're a movement that comes right to the individual, to his development. And paraphrasing a famous quote about leadership, it says that in scouting, we know we can make leaders because we know that leaders are not born. Some are, but most are developed or made. And scouting prides itself in making leaders. And leadership is also a skill that could be seen as a talent. But many more skills, many more abilities can be developed in the individual through scouting. And now we would like to work on two concepts. The concept of top talent. What do you think when I mentioned top talent? Yeah, they can't hear you. So I would have to give you the mic and you would have to come right up here. No, come on, come on, come on. No, you're not. You're developing that talent.
I'm back to music. Someone like Mozart, someone like Don Bradman, other famous sports figures, Baden Powell.
Okay, good. BP developed his talents. If you read his life, he forced himself to write with both hands until he learned to write with both hands. It's not a common talent, but it's a useful talent, especially for people who like art or for a soldier in the field where he needs to use both hands. So talents are of diverse nature, but we're talking about top talent and everybody's talent. What could the difference be? I gotta make you stand. Okay, I'll give it to you, but you'll be outside the.
They don't need to see my face. They'll hear my voice. There's top talent is I see as something an exceptional talent that you need a small number of people with that sort of talent, but the more general talent is shared between almost everybody, so that any person in this room can have a talent that will benefit the group, but there'll only be a small number of people with a very high level of talent, and you need some of those people as well.
That's good. Usually CEOs, they're looked for as top talents, people that have a special profile that is way out there, out of the reach of most of us, and they usually are top talents. But who do we care about? We care about the individual, right? About everybody. About Joe that comes in here, or Mary, and is a scout or is a leader, and we know they have hidden talents and obvious talents. Because you mentioned what you would like to do, right? What talent you would like to develop. But I'm sure you have some talents here. Could we know what talent you have?
I still need to reveal if I have any.
You're sure you don't have a talent? You work with children. Do you have a talent to work with children? Oh, you're a trainer. Do you have a talent to work with adults? Maybe. Well, maybe it's good enough for me.
I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe singing, but
Maybe that word troubles me. Maybe.
Well, I guess my talent is making stuff up on the go, and this is my talent right now.
Music, law, scouts.
I can speak.
Good. You're clear on that. Okay.
I was a teacher for 40 years, so I hope I have a talent with working with young people.
I'm just thinking what talents that I have. I have a talent of doing scientific work.
Okay, my talent is that I can translate. So I'm the translator. And for Turkish to English, or from English to Turkish. I don't have a talent for other languages, but I can manage a camp very well.
I think my talent communication with my community.
I think I can explain some very difficult things in simple way, but in French.
Working with kids and motivating people.
I think I have a talent in meeting people from that is different from myself.
You're good for intercultural dialogue. That's good. We need people with all those talents. And what's obvious here is that first you said what you would like, and now we find that some, even though some say maybe, I believe they have many talents. We all have talents. And usually scout leaders are talented. That's why they're scout leaders. They've been providing their own talents and developing others in scouting through training, through exposure to different areas of scouting. And I believe that we have to know that that's why talent is our business. It's everybody's business because we all have talent. And if we just think of talent as top talent, then, well, maybe I'm not there. You know, maybe I'm not Bill Gates or who knows, or God having him heaven, Steve Jobs or whoever is the person, right? That's very exceptional and super talented, way out there from where the rest of us are. But what is sure is that we all have talents. And that's what scouting's about. Scouting, and BP, since he wrote Scouting for Boys, if you go in it, and we have a piece in the page for this session that has a Facebook community, and it has a Dropbox. If you read the document there, you'll see that we have citations from BP and Scouting for Boys saying that one of the most important things is the development of the talent in the boy. And so it's something recognized by our founder from a beginning that he would find talents in each and every one of the boys. And of course the adults that give their time to lead these boys in scouting or these youth in scouting. So it's good we've been able to separate talent that sometimes is looked as top talent from the talent we all have and anybody has. And so we can say in scouting without no doubt that even if you're not born with a talent, we can help you develop it. So those that don't play guitars, don't worry. If that's part of the program, if you were a boy, well, not as an adult, maybe we cannot provide, but if you were a youth in scouting and you would like to play guitar and you have the sufficient help or the sufficient program elasticity, maybe you would end up learning to play the guitar. Because talents can be developed. When we find a talent, we need to see how to develop it. And so that's part of what we're going to see today. How we can detect and develop the talents in youth and in adults, because it's both things. Here we have adult leaders and we have leaders of youth, and both of us are interested in both areas, right? In children developing their talents and adults. Well, bad news for us, the big guys. It's much easier to develop talents in children. The smaller you are, the easier it is to develop talents. Anybody from Japan here? Korea? No? Well, Taiwan. I know they have exceptional musicians at 7, 8 years old. Start learning violin at 4. Developing some talents that, well, if I tried to play violin at my age, I don't think I would play very good. So talents take times to develop. Sometimes some talents don't take that much time. But if you want to play violin, maybe it'll take you some time. If you want to be a concertist in piano, you'll take at least 7 years. So talent development is not something instantaneous. It's something that takes time. But we can all do it. Do we agree to that? Yeah? Okay. Let's keep on then.
Just to say one more. Do you know what is Apollo syndrome? Have you heard about it? It's the situation where in one team you have too many talented people. You hear me? Does this work? Yeah. Like if you imagine the football club Real, they never beat Barcelona because they cannot manage to kind of to balance the talents of. They are all super talented, and that sometimes can be also a problem. So it's not. Sorry. Does it work? Yeah. Okay. I think that I know that there are two types of intelligences. There is G and S, the generalists and the specialists. And myself, I am G. I always knew to do many things in my life, but I was never perfect in anything. And contrary to me, for instance, is my compatriot Novak Djokovic, who is probably one of the best tennis players in the world. He is really specialist. He knows many other things, but for this that he is doing, he is the specialist. I am always kind of more G. My daughter is also G. So in scouting, that's for me also very interesting. There is a fair amount of things we do as the G offer to people. We all learn a lot of practical skills in scouting. We all learn, like Rafe said, some leadership skills. We all learn communication with the others. But then each of us said here something which is very specific and which is kind of, in a way, S, which is something specialized. What are your experiences in your associations? Do you have the balance between G and S? Do you offer general things for everyone? And are there programs which you offer to people who want to develop very specific talent which they have or they would like to have? Do you have the balance of it? No. Just G. Just G. In other associations? Yeah.
In Australia, there are projects and activities that people can go off to do to challenge themselves in not everything, in some areas. But so we have Rover Scouts who are organising projects in third world countries and organising a team to go away. So they're getting project management skills that are high order, and when they complete those sorts of projects, the skills they have can actually get a qualification in project management, which can lead to work opportunities. We probably haven't produced very many Mozarts, but we do have gang shows where people can develop their skills at least part of the way. They would need to go on before they reach their full potential in other ways. In lots of individual sports like rock climbing or sailing, where you don't need a whole team, then they can develop their skills to a high level. Probably if they want to play soccer, they need to go to a soccer club, but they can start in scouting.
Maybe. I was saying that almost 90% of the activities are general talents. On very, very few occasions, you have specific activities, particularly maybe swimming. Not every child go for it. There are those who take it a little seriously. They earn a badge. They even become swimming instructors. There are very few occasions of such. But majority of activities is just taken generally.
Oh, I was wondering, when some of you that I've seen the faces like that, like, yeah, we only have general merit badges.
Proficiency badges, whatever.
Yeah, merit. Don't you have merit badges that develop
Merit badges,
individual skills that people want to develop further? Maybe how many people have started developing their talents in scouting and have studied a profession that they started out with a merit badge? Why do we have, since the beginning of scouting, the emphasis on the individual and the collective talents? Why the individual talents? Because the method uses the group to further the activities, but we always land on the development of the individual. So that's why we have to have individual ways of developing talents. It's a way of expressing the action of the method, of the scout method. Without considering the individual, we would become a massive movement. And a massive movement is not scouting. Scouting is individualized. It goes to each person as each person needs it. Does that sound like talent?
Yeah. And also the something which differentiates somebody's talent from the others is that it is different, really. And if you try to just do general, then you maybe kill talent in people, because you force everyone to be the same. In a way. Just across the border here, if you remember the old times, everybody was kind of in the same uniform, gray and thing like this. Does it work? It's okay. We all develop, but then you really, if you just offer general things, you maybe kill the talent of somebody who would like to do something more into this. And that's the difference also, like between generalists and specialists. It's also the difference between collective and individual. And I think I agree. It could be 90%, it could be 80%, it could be whatever, you know. But I think that there should be a fair offer, including both skills which are offered for everyone, and also helping every person to develop his own talent and to grow for himself or herself.
That's about kids we talk, but we're also talking about adults. How many adults come in the scout movement, and we have to make them competent. But some bring their own competencies, their own skills, their own abilities, their own knowledge. And we take it in, and we help them develop it further. And sometimes, like in Australia I was hearing, it qualifies you. It qualifies you for other things, for the work system. And in some other countries, I understand it's the same. So talents are important. Talents have to do with not only scouting, but with real life. Because you don't develop talents just to do scouting. You develop talents for life. And that's something that's that's a big, important issue for us with respect to adults or youth in scouting. Okay, we can see that there's a strategic level that has to do with adults in scouting, world adults in scouting policy. Strategic priorities. We have strategic priorities that deal with some things that touch in one way or another the way we will develop or the way we will reach to the individual talents. But we also have a competency approach. Competencies are knowledge united with skills and attitudes that in a way help us to show that we know how to do something. They are really a deep and profound ability to do something in a correct or sequential manner. And a competency approach is also important because when we talk about having talents, we need talents that make us competent. We need to be competent in a talent. We can have a talent, but maybe we cannot be competent. Development of talents makes us competent in what we are trying to reach. And the processes, of course, talent management, that includes talent definition, talent identification, talent development. Governance comes to play too, because we need some principles. Some principles that when we talk in talent management about succession planning, you've heard about succession planning. Well, succession planning is where governance intersects talent management, because the talents are led to fill in the positions or functions that little by little are left open because of mobility in the structure or because of retirement of persons. And that means that that has to be taken into account. So there's an intersection between talent management, governance, between retention planning, because we, since the moment we recruit somebody, what are we thinking on? Keeping him. We don't recruit to lose people. We recruit to keep them. We recruit because we see talents in persons, talents that are potential or developed and that we can use so that person can fulfill his position or function in scouting. And at the end, human development, right? The mentoring process. How many talents are developed because somebody's with you and helps you through the process, helps you to be able to speak, helps you to be able to do games or to sing. And you have that person mentoring you. Scouting has a long history of mentoring. That's the way we usually lead people to develop many of the talents they have. That's how the old Scoutmaster mentors a young assistant Scoutmaster that has the potential, and then he mentors him until one day he says, well, now I can leave. There's somebody here that can do the job through mentoring or coaching. And that coaching means helping people reach their goals, go through the path that will take them to where they want to go. Or counseling, where they can kind of solve, I kind of like playing guitar. You know, I like playing guitar too, and I've tried about 3 times and I haven't been able to play guitar. So maybe I should put my time in something else, because I think I don't have many skills for playing guitar. Maybe I can sing with the guy that plays the guitar, and that would be fine. But so we see that we have talent management that intersects with governance, with retention planning, and with human development. If we don't take all these into account, we cannot just talk about talent management, because it's not in the void. It's intersected with other things. And of course, we have to see the competency approach and understand the strategic level, our worldwide adult resources policy, and the strategic areas that are emphasized. I'll leave you with Minutin, who will give you something that we will work with. Yeah, we will share something with you. We're going to share with you a talent management checklist for NSOs. So each one of you is going to become kind of an NSO messenger. This is not giving it back. We're not going to count it. We're not going to see it. You're going to answer what you think is the current state of talent management in your NSO and the desired state you would like for talent management in your NSO. You can share with us some of the things here, but this is not to be handed in or checked out or whatever. This is yours. So you can put your ideas in kind of an order. So let's start out with the current state. Don't fill in yet the desired state. Fill in the first part, right? This first part, so we can see some things together. Thanks. Don't hesitate. Anything that bothers you, go ahead. Put it forth. It's a little bit hot. People say it's warm inside. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, you get it. Check it out. Put a little check on each one in the first part. What you oops. assess what do you think is the current state of talent management in your NSO here at the beginning. You're the experts. Take or cross, whatever you feel good. It's your paper. Make it your own. Yes. Most potential candidate?
Yeah, who do you mean by candidates? I don't know if it's about the kids or the leaders or.
Well, at this moment, we're not making any difference. It's written up in a general way, so that if you want to think you work with kids and you want to think it as children, maybe you can think it as children. It's made for adults in general in this case, but you can think it as you please in that sense. But it's thought up for adults, of recruitment of adults. So there you're talking about candidates for being a leader in your Scout NSO. Right? In your NSO, yes. Well, I'm sure you're an expert. You have an idea how things go. It's just to reflect. We're not going to fix it, but we can reflect about it, and we can find ideas that tell us about talent management in our own NSOs. Ready? It's just 9 points, so I think we should be ready. 9 checks or 9 crosses there. What do you think? Opinions. What did you discover when you checked those points there? What did you discover? Somebody discovered something? Now that you're thinking about it? Go ahead.
I know most of the points there, I believe we are already aware of. We may not all do them all perfectly, but we're aware of them as issues. But the two that stood out for me is the reference to performance management. Performance management is a term that's used extensively in workplace, and we've found in Australia that it's quite unpopular with the volunteers. They don't believe. The general feeling is that performance management isn't appropriate for volunteers.
It's good.
It's true. Some of these strategies, techniques, theories we take from the business world, and it takes time to translate them into sensitive language which is used by volunteers. So this is a good example.
Yeah, good.
I think it's not about the language. Like performance management is, in my culture, from my association, this is not possible. We even often do not set clear goals, or we do not have job descriptions, because otherwise people don't show up and say no, like they don't commit to something which is clearly defined.
Well.
Yeah, in our organization, in this aspect, actually we are now trying to identify the performance management. Actually, we didn't do that. We haven't done it for history, but in the past few years, we feel the urgency to do that. So the top management, especially from the council level and the NSO level, we have a clear goal for talent to do the job of certain position, and we haven't done that yet. But we all, I mean, as a jointly consensus, we feel we need that, and to identify what kind of the performance definition and what kind of management we need for our association. That's we are looking into it.
It's interesting that we're all doing different things. It's we keep reinventing the wheel. In Australia, we've borrowed heavily from business, and we use a great many strategies from business. We do have duty statements, for example, for everybody so that they know what is expected of them. And we have codes of conducts that people have to sign and so on that we've taken from business. But within our culture, the performance management is not very popular at all with the volunteers. It's in our program, it's in our training, and we are meant to be doing performance management. But out of all the things we do, that's the one thing that has had the most opposition from people, which is what you were talking about in your country as well. And I think in our case, it's cultural. People live with it at work. They're not happy about it at work, but they live with it. And so when it's something they're doing as a volunteer, they reject that from being part of what we do.
What I was going to mention is that performance is the second stage of the adult life cycle. So it's world policy. And if you go into, as the World Adults and Scouting Policy says, into competencies, the only way to certify a competency is that way. You need a 360 or a 120 or a 180, whatever the way you do it, or other ways to make sure that what is being done right, because or else you cannot certify. And so that's why it comes into the mind. Of course, it is not that everyone has to do it. We were just trying to see the differences, the scope of differences we have here. But the world policy does mention it in the second level, where training comes in, and where we back up the leader and give him all the accompaniment he needs, right?
Let me clarify the performance management we're talking about. Actually, we are targeting on the top leaders, volunteer who has a position top leader, like the trainer, national trainer, and assistant trainers, and the volunteer like myself, who has the position in the NSO or council level as executive, even though we are volunteers. I think it's very important for ourselves as an indicator how good we are and what do we need to improve.
This is certainly a cultural issue, and I know, and I fully understand the situation in Germany. Just to give a comparison, in one of the Belgian Scout associations, none of them, two persons here, not here, in what they call it, Scouts in Hits and Flandern, their training is completely unstructured. And you have the training which goes from here, and then they don't have any structured training. They come to the training and they say, what do you want? And they deliver it. And that's the cultural thing. That's how they do it. While I understand in other associations, you have a very hierarchical, standardized, organized training which allows you to go through it, gives you a certificate and things like this. But it's a cultural difference, and that's the magic of scouting. We do it in our way, in our cultural way.
Diversity.
Some more comments?
Any more comments? No?
There is a word you mentioned on succession plan, and then it sometimes is misunderstood alongside talent identification, in that those responsible at the time would not maybe want to be so comfortable to identify talents, because they mistake it to mean with that identification, then the succession would rather mean overthrow of a person in position at a time, and hence you see that it is just ignored, because it is just misunderstood, especially in an association like ours, where you are struggling to make sure that there is planned succession of leadership, so that association doesn't lose out. And as a result, those of us who are like in the direct management, in the office, not in the volunteer team, you find most of the time you are putting off fire from angles to make sure that there's a bit of harmony in that.
Yeah, and of course, we all have differences. We have positions that are elected, positions that are designated. It's difficult to plan succession when you're elected. It's easier when you're designated. So it changes and different things happen. We're not trying to get a model or sell anything. We're trying to analyze talent management in our own NSOs. It's a personal thing. And of course, you will not exit that door with a particular model, just with an idea of what we're doing, clearing your mind up. Maybe some things I don't like, I would never be able to implement them, and that's okay. So now let's do the second part. What do you want your talent management process to be? So check on the things that you would desire for your NSO. It's kind of a wish list that you would desire for your NSO. Now you have the chance to say which things you want and would like to see in your NSO. Ready? Okay, I'm going to ask you to share with us one point you chose, and we can start in this area.
0. That I would like to see, or that?
One thing, one of these boxes that you choose and say you would like to see in your NSO.
I thought that we are already doing it. Okay. To pilot a project.
To have a pilot project. Okay, go ahead, pass it around.
No, we don't have it. I would like to.
You would like to have a pilot project.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. If you want to say something else, you can. A couple of words, because we got to go around, and so it takes time.
For me, it's the same as my friend from Romania. I want to have a pilot for the project.
Okay, good.
In my NSO, the process is transparent.
You want a transparent process?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
At us, the problem is that I couldn't translate all of these, so we will analyze these when we go back home.
No problem. You can pass
sorry.
it on.
Talent management has been defined and communicated at all levels to gain support of key stakeholders.
Okay. Define it and communicate it at all levels. The norms for talent management. Good.
The fourth point, development activities are linked to performance management and career development.
Okay, good.
So I'd like to see processes are in place to integrate talent management with other adults in scouting activities, including recruitment, training, performance management, recognition, and decision at the end of an agreement. Because I believe talent is something that's holistic in nature. It shouldn't be divided. So we should integrate every single aspect.
Okay, good.
A great many of these points were already implemented in Australia, but the one that stands out to me as being really important, if you're talking about encouraging people to develop their talents, and that is the process of being transparent. If you genuinely want people to attempt to put their names forward or to take on new projects, then the strategies you use need to be transparent so that everyone feels they've had an equal opportunity.
That's right.
As Mike was saying, a lot of these processes are already implemented in Australia. However, in my particular state, processes are in place to integrate talent management is the one that I resonate with most, that we'd like to achieve. We've recently put in place a program to identify and database emerging talent. Our problem is that we haven't got enough high-skilled people at the top of scouting. We know they're out there. We know they're out there on the front lines, on the grassroots, but we're not out there actually developing them. So the trick is to identify them and make sure we give them lots of opportunities to shine and to prove themselves, whether that be through organising events or taking a lead role in some kind of a project, finding other ways for them to extend themselves outside of just running a scout troop or running a cub pack.
Well, the last but one systematic process to assess candidates based on the feedbacks from multi-perspective and sources of information.
So I was just out.
I resonate with my Australian colleagues that to identify the talents that you've actually got within your organisation and actually put them in the gaps that you need to fill.
For us, what we would like, it's plans include developing pools of talents for key position, and are linked to building competencies and skills for current and future needs. Because I found it's very important to systematically work on support of the talent to be able choose later on a correct person.
I took resources are identified and secured to ensure that process can operate effectively. And I just want to explain very short. We, in my organization, we don't have a very written down talent management. We don't have badges or anything, but it goes along in everything that we do in scouting, that we encourage children and adults to develop their talents. And so if we had more resources to make this more aware, then I think it would be very great.
Okay, I think I will desire that the aspects of the process will be decided by each level up to the unit level, because I think that the way that we can have a real unity in all the country, all the NSO, that the way we can join a lot of personal experience from all regions.
Yeah, honestly speaking, I wish we can have all, but it's impossible now. But I think my personal opinion about what we really need on NSO is the last one. The tools needed to support the process are identified.
Bias, I think it's also the tools needed to support the process. Process identified. Yeah.
I want to second Tasmania because I think transparency is really important.
For us, I think in Papua New Guinea, we need some sort of effectiveness is tracked and monitored. It must be like performance must be monitored and it must be tracked because we don't have proper. Yeah.
And for us, I think that resources are to be identified and secured to ensure that the process can operate effectively.
Well,
I picked on two, what he said on plans, and then the last one someone said on tools needed to support the process.
So you see, we started out today dreaming, right, with our keynote speaker, and we are still dreaming because in a way, the only way to reach goals is to dream. And then we have dreamt a bit about what we would want respect to talent management. Each one of you has chosen a different aspect. Maybe now that's what you think when you go back home. Maybe you'll change your mind. But the important thing is we're thinking about it. We're thinking, we're dreaming, and that's the only way to get to goals. We're looking.
Just we can look at the talent management from different aspects. What was now done is kind of organizational aspect of the talent management. We can look at it from individual aspect, as what we discussed this in the first part of the session. We can look at it from cultural aspect, from social aspect, from different angles, and I think it's worth to try to develop it and to discuss to go into it. And if necessary, you missed there was one.
It's just, I was actually just inspired by what you just said, Milutin, that this was on the organizational perspective, because what I missed on the checklist maybe was a way that we do talent management also by mentoring in my association, that we find a mentor, which is a way as a talent, it's difficult maybe sometimes to find your way in the organization and find your way, what is your priorities, what do you really want, and then we find a mentor which can help, and adult scouts which can help them. Yeah.
Very good, thank you. So, this is a list which we offered, but you can add to the list. Is it working? No?
Yeah. Yes, I just wanted to mention the World Adults Policy talks about the training advisor. Training advisor is a mentor. His work is mentoring, getting the person to do his personal training plan so he can go through with it and develop himself out.
Yeah. So there are a lot of challenges, and maybe you have seen that on the webpage we put some of the questions which, for us, are challenges when we talk about talent management. And I'd like to put them again in front. How do we make hidden talents more explicit? How can we make them understandable, communicatable, exchangeable? How do we dig into talents that we have somewhere inside? The next challenge we think is at the moment in front of us is, what is the talent mix, and will today's talent answer tomorrow's challenges and support growth? How do we balance the talents inside organization, team, project team, wherever else? And how do we find talents which will answer the challenges for tomorrow to bring us the growth? Do we review existing talents in organizations and have talent pools? Some mentioned also here that they would like to establish talent pools. Should we have talent markets as a way of recognizing hidden talents of our leaders? How much are personal and organizational talent management complementary, and how much contradictory? We mentioned during the session a little bit about individual and collective, and this is something which, all this which we discussed now about organizational talent management, how does it fit with individual talent? Are customized development plans, individual development plans, for leaders, practice in our organizations, or just a wishful dream? Do we really, like in a way that was just mentioned about mentoring, do we really work with every leader to try to analyze what are the current talents and skills, and what is something that the person would like to achieve in a period of time, and create a development plan? Are we recognizing and trying to keep our best talents? Which form of negative selection is present in scouting? Have you heard about negative selection? Do you use it? Doing something which throws people away instead of trying to keep them inside. And there are things which happen. Does Scouting create an environment for lifelong learning, and can leaders be their principal agents of their development as a self-reliant, supportive, responsible, and committed person? Some of the challenges. Would you like to add something or to comment on some of these? Please.
One thing I believe you need to be careful of when you're doing systemic planning is that you don't only develop those with one set of talents, so that you only have people who are good at research, or you only have people that are good at speaking, or you only have people at whatever, because and that's part of the negative selection, because if you only recognise one narrow set of talents, you end up lacking the diversity that you need to be a good organisation, because you've driven away all the people that don't meet the criteria that you've been looking for.
More comments? Or, as I said, something else which is a challenge for you in your associations? Adi?
I'd like to understand why are we speaking so much about talent management in leaders and in organizational development, and we are not putting here in the subject the talent management of the Scouts. As we spoke earlier, a talent, it's much more easy to develop it when it's young.
Just to tell you the secret, when this session was designed, it should be about talent management in adult leaders. And we turned it into talking more about general talent management in the association, including young people. So when we already changed it to introduce some of it, and I fully agree with you that Scouting as educational movement should not just look at the organizational aspect of how do we do it in the system, but also look at it wider from an educational point of view, what we already discussed in the first part of the session, trying to recognize, to bring out, and to flourish everybody's talent. More? Yes? Negative selection. Maybe an example is what we discussed about generalists. You have a group, if you have a patrol of young people working together, and one of them is really, obviously, the top guy. And if you are not very careful, that person will go away, because I mean, if somebody is above the others, it's very hard to stand it. And it's very hard. I mean, that person would have to maybe go a little bit lower to be among the others. And it happens very often that the talented people just leave because maybe we are too much generalist, for instance. I think that can happen. That's an example of how a negative selection can happen. Or I have another example. I know people in my association who have been leaders of a local scout group for 20 years. And whenever there is a young person coming with a lot of talents, some of them say, this young guy will take over from me. So he does, or she, something just to side the person, to kind of stop his or her development, and then the guy say, what do I do here? I go away. That can also be kind of negative, not giving people opportunity to grow, but for whatever personal reasons, trying to stop the development of somebody else.
The question would be on whether and how do we recognize these kind of people as troublemakers or top talent in disguise?
As I said, I mean, if we recognize what are the expressions of negative selection, we would maybe manage to fight against and try to do something to change the situation.
Another aspect of negative selection is that if you only select tall people for something, for example, then the people who are short will just leave. And so if you need a balance of people who are tall and of people who are short, and you only reward the ones who are tall, you will lose all the short people, and so you don't have the diversity that you need for, say, a basketball team. If you only have really tall people, who's going to get the ball that's down on the ground? So you need to be conscious that you need a mix of people, and that you recognise lots of different talents, so that when something comes up and you need a different talent, there's somebody there that has that talent.
Or a leader, for instance, of a local group or whatever else is really enthusiastic about adventures. And he always takes kids to some adventurous things. And some of them are not so skilled about it, you know. They would like to do something which is more kind of home-based-ish, you know. And then they just leave because they cannot manage to go into so many adventurous activities. So sometimes there are these kind of negative selections happening.
And Lutin, and I think we suffer from, especially older youth in the scout section, when they want to do things of high adventure and do other things, and they don't get it. We don't deliver. We don't deliver, and they go. So it's very clear for us. Our main problem in scouting, how could we point it out? Which could we say is the biggest problem we have? Recruitment or retention? And does retention have to do with this subject?
Thanks. We are 2 minutes away from the end. Yes, some final comments.
I have a question for everybody over here because, as I'm saying, we are trying to develop some kind of the talent management or so-called the human resources management. Does everybody think, each of you, is it necessary that we have some volunteer with human resources background? I mean, I'm from enterprise. I'm not an executive scout. So we feel that it's important to have for an organization to have a real good human resources people to do the planning and to design the whole project for us to apply. So what do you think?
Just to say that in European Scout region, we discussed about, I was director for adult resources for a couple of years. And then when we analyzed the adult resources strategy, we understood that we are good in recruitment phase. We managed to develop a lot of techniques and things like that. We are also good in the performance stage when we train people and give them support and things like this. But the last phase for us was not completely, but not too developed. So we were working on what we then turned to call management of our human capital. And I think that's alternative title for talent management. It's management of human capital. And if you see your leaders, your members as a capital, something which is really worth, something maybe the biggest pressure that the association has, then you will have to think about how do we manage it, and then find the best way of managing human capital. It's not what is like HR department in many of the companies which deal with all the legislation paper, sick leaves and all these things. It's about really managing the capital you have, trying to give them the best experience in serving the movement and young people. That is something which is the magic of adult resources and of talent management.
And to wrap it up, what we need is conscience about this issue. We need to be conscious that this is an issue, that we have to be upon it, that we need to consider it, that all NSOs, in one way or another, respecting the cultural aspects, their own rules, have to develop some sort of way of keeping our social capital inside. Retention. We need to retain, and the only way to retain is to recognize a person's talents and to make sure that that person feels good inside scouting, be him a youth or an adult. So we have to think about this. This is not intended to reach a conclusion. It's intended to create awareness. So my last question would be, are we aware? Yes or no? Okay, let's see. I'll ask it again so it comes out in the microphone. Are we aware? Okay, good.
Thank you very much. I think it was, for me it was interesting, and I think I learned much more than I was thinking to tell you. Please fill in the form and give it to us. And thank you for coming. It's really the last part of the work, and thank you for managing to come to this point. We are meeting at 7 o'clock again in the third big hall for the final evaluation and for event. Here is the box.